děkuji. Sorry. Hello, my name is Matouš Kutypa, and I will tell you a little bit about our infrastructure in TechFides. TechFides is a company where we are building bigger web application, and we were established 4 years ago, and now we are a team of more than 20 developers. So we are growing and delivering web applications all around the world, and that means that the requirements for infrastructure is growing too, and the requirements are also changing. With the size of company or whatever you want to care about is never mind. So let's check it. When we want to talk about infrastructure, we will definitely divide it into production and development environment. These environments should be directly separated and mostly are very different. With production, we are using Amazon Web Services because mainly because of two reasons. The first is that when we are building projects for startups, we mostly don't know what will be the traffic. So with using of Web Amazon services, we can change the performance we need to. And the second very important reason is that we have some arguments because you can choose some provider of servers, but every provider could have some blackout, and it can go down. And in that time, you need to have some excuse, some arguments why you choose this provider, because the client, the startup, will ask why we are running on AWS, and you can say, well, we choose the one of the best what is on the market, so it is not our fault. So this is to production. And let's now talk a little bit more about the development environment. When we started, we just order the virtual private servers from provider like Vedosys, and we figure out that that is not something what we can work with, because when you are ordering these units, the virtual servers directly from the provider, you can buy some packages. And if you want to have some more memory and you want to increase it, you can only change the package. So it means you will have to buy also more storage, and you don't want to have storage, so you are paying for something you really don't need. So yeah. Another reason why I do not use the virtual private servers is that you don't have a control of the shared resources like is the disk. Disk was the biggest pain for us because we haven't control of all virtual machines which were running on a host server, and for example, another company was doing something what makes really big traffic on the disks, and so we have a really slow access to the disk. So we decided to rent our own hardware and build our own virtual platform. This is our lessons learned, that if you will want to have good infrastructure, just start with your own physical server and on it build your virtualized servers. For the virtualized environment, we are using Proxmox, which is open source, and it works with KVM, which is pretty fine. We just and when we want to create great infrastructure and we want to have it for the future, we needed to find a good design. So for us, we choose the way that we have some unit, which is one physical server, and it will host tens of virtualized server. I have here some configuration we chose. So this is the configuration we chose for the host server, for the physical server, which will host tens of virtualized servers. On this unit, we need to have some, I don't know, some groups of servers. Yeah, because it's really messy. So we decided to have these groups. So this is groups for the one unit, for the one physical server. Here we have a master, where is running the Proxmox. Also, there is a group for internal services like GitLab, servers for doing builds. All these groups has its own requirements for performance. Some group need more memory, some more storage, and so on. Also, there is groups for projects. Some projects we are working on has each own dedicated server. So it is only server for the projects, or we have shared servers where is running more projects for some presentations, where is very small traffic and so on. And also, each unit has servers for backups, and these backups are for backupping another unit. So if you want to have this unit properly backupped, it should have its backups somewhere else than on this unit, because when it is failure, you want to work with it. Okay. So now I would like to ask you, how many of you are here responsible for servers? How many of you are the people who are caring about servers in your company? Please, hands up. Okay, fine. And I will have some questions for you guys later. But the first is that how many of you was working or is working with Ansible? Okay, it's funny that some of you has hands up and now and not before, but never mind. Yeah, so when we want to maintain and update, manage more servers, we just use the Ansible. It's a great tool. You can update and manage more servers with one command. In Ansible terminology, we have nodes. This is the servers you want to maintain, and control machines. That's the admin's computers. The biggest advantage of Ansible I really like is that there is no need to run agent or on the nodes. Yeah, it requires only OpenSSH and Python install. That's all. All what you need to work with Ansible you can have on your Git. So it's great, and basically you are working with inventory and playbooks. Inventory is a kind of file when when you have a list of your virtual servers, you have their description of nodes, and you can use comments there and variables. It's great that you have, in this file, you have pretty good view on your servers on the one unit. Also, in Ansible we work with playbooks. There are a few just playbooks for setup, for basic configuration, discovery, for gathering information from another servers, upgrading, and for maintenance, other actions you want to execute. With using of Ansible, we can set up a new server in 1 hour. That's really great. Even with Ansible, there is a few things you need to do manually. One of that thing is to do a great documentation, because it's not good when you have something only in your head, it is not written. That's bad, because of course when you are on holiday and something bad happened, we need someone else to do it, to fix it. So it's good to pay attention to documentation. On the documentation, you can do the documentation in the Ansible inventory file, but there are a few things which we have separately in our Confluence. We are using Confluence for documentation, and to every server we have table of ports. We have the changes in configuration for the exact server, because we want to have the servers in the same configuration, but sometimes you need to have some differences, so it's good to document it. Also, we have there a list of public SSH keys used on these servers, because of security. If you want to check the public key you got from the server. And also we have there some few basic commands for restarting some services and so on. Because when someone wants to, for example, restart some service on the server, he can just go there to documentation, copy-paste, and it is done. So, yeah. And now let's check the security of infrastructure. We haven't a lot of time here, but I have a few points which is, I think, really good to discuss. When we are talking about security, we want to talk about updating. Updates, when you ask your management if they want to update, they will probably say, well, that means that something could go down or something could break up, and just leave it as it is working, so do not touch it. But you as administrator wants to update really often, because of new features, because of the security bugs, because of new dependencies, and so on. So there is my question for you. How many of you are updating each server in your infrastructure at least once in a year? Please, hands up. Okay. And how many of you is updating each server in your infrastructure once a month? Yeah. And now you can see that if there is some security bugs, the server can be hurted with this bug. And you can try to go and say to your management, well, we want to do the updates more often, but it's up to you. You should do this and make the pressure on the management. So we decided to update each 3 months. In case of big security issues, we are updating immediately. Okay. Now, a short stop for SSL and TLS. Here I would like to mention, it is great. I think it's good to have a protected communication. It is professional. I think I don't have to speak more about the reason why using the SSL and TLS. But I would like to mention how to do it, because when you are using the cryptography, you need to solve the trust of certificates, and you can use your internal certification authority. But I think it is quite complicated to set up properly the authority and so on. So you can buy certificates from authorities like Symantec or Tafte, but it costs some money, and there is some processes with ordering the certificate and with renewing. It is quite annoying. So what we found, it's Let's Encrypt authority. How many of you knows this authority, Let's Encrypt? It's great. What we really like on this authority is that you can automate the renewing process of certificates. So no manual steps are required. So that's great. And if you are using some Symantec or something like that, just look on it. Okay. Next thing, and maybe it is part of security, is monitoring. We are using Munin. We are using Uptime Robot and many integrations with Slack. Slack is great tool for communication in your team, and here we can see that Munin is sending us message to the infra channel that something, some warning or what. There is more integration which could help you to watch the things. So this is kind of recommendation. We are very happy with it. And also, if you are responsible for the infrastructure, it's good to have some TVs and big dashboards which is showing the things in real time. We had this before we bought PlayStation, but we talked about the software and how to configure it and what we learn and so on. And now I would like to talk a little bit about the server providers. Of course, you can build your own data center, but that means you will have to solve the cooling, the backupping of electricity, strong internet line, and so on. So we choose to rent the server, and now we are standing. Now you need to choose what provider you will use. We decide to choose OVH, which is the #1 hosting company in Europe. They have 300,000 of server in 27 data centers. Quite big company, and it could be good provider. In a few months, we were running on OVH. They went through the biggest blackout in their history, and in November last year, and it affected millions of websites in Europe. It was quite big. I think you maybe heard about it. The CEO has some speech about that, but that was really sad. What happened was that their 4 very important data centers has only 2 power cables for electricity, and one of the cables was damaged, and there were some dependency between these cables, so the electricity goes down. Of course, they have UPS. Of course, they have some motor aggregators, but it shows up that it is not working. So 3.5 hours the data center was totally without energy, and 3.5 hours they were solving how to start the motorized aggregators. Next hours, of course, they were starting the other services like routers and these things. In official statement, they said that they will add some more cables and they will uninstall the shipping containers and use normal buildings. And when I saw that, I was just shipping containers. And what is shipping containers? Yeah. And it appears that what I found was that they invented a new way how to build a data center from shipping containers. And it is a big company, but the servers are running in shipping containers. So that's interesting that if you will buy some servers, some hardware, rent some hardware, you never know where and in what condition it is running. Yeah, because when I would know that our servers are running in some shipping containers in these conditions, it would be for me really bad. Okay, that's it, I think. And I would like to mention, if you like it, just visit our Facebook. If you have some question, discuss more topic about infrastructure, you can go and visit our meetups. If you like the page, you will be notified about the event. And that's it. Thank you for attention and have a great day here. Bye.